Bagi Gakasa, Bagi Fedek. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Media Watch. I'm your host, Dr. Savvy. And a few weeks ago, or should I say a few months ago, we had a wonderful guest on, which was Baljeet. And since then, lots of things have happened. He was actually involved in the challengeforheroes.com initiative, which was to do a virtual bike ride. He and I have both been involved in a bike ride from Birmingham to London for many years. Together, we've raised money for children's charities. And this time around, he actually had another charity that he wanted to do. He has actually been involved in Canada. So today is a special show because we have lots of representatives from the UK as well as Canada, and also people have taken part in the US as well. Literally about 3 weeks ago, I was honoured to also be part of a bike ride which took place from the east of London to the centre of London, and it was to the Shepherd's Bush Gurdwara. And I'm pleased to say that across all the three different areas, that's Canada, US and UK, we all rode into the sunset together, I should say. We were riding together, and we managed to raise about $6,000 for a very worthwhile cause that I wanted to talk to you about today, because, you know, to do great things in terms of, or little great things, as Martin Luther used to say, Martin Luther King, it's a good idea to do something. And Baljeet is and you can picture him in there, is what can I say, a very dedicated, very fit individual. Also does lots of stuff on Facebook in terms of keeping people energized throughout the COVID-19 situation. And today we want to talk about the Miracle Valley Community Centre. Baljeet goes there actually every year. This year he couldn't go, and he does gut training there. And many people from different communities come together and they use that facility to help improve their lives, as well as the I guess not only adults but also community people that are able to be inspired and be put down the right path. And like I said, we've got a mix of people from the UK and Canada today. So that's the first thing that we should talk about. Baljeet, welcome to the show. Were you excited about creating this new cycling group called Sing Chorus, which were involved in terms of their first ride to actually do something good to raise money for the actual community centre?
Well, in August the 5th, a fire took place at KCMV Miracle Valley, which is a campsite that is run by Sandeep to your top right, and Herb, the facilities manager, in the middle. And Amani is also a camper. I don't know if you guys can see her, she's wearing the glasses. I got involved with the West Coast State Youth Alliance in 2000. So this would have been my 20th year. So when I saw the fire that had taken place on 5th of August, it really hit and pulled at my heart. And also at the same time, I also wanted to launch a group, a cycling group. And I thought, what an excellent cause this would be. Not only could we do a Sarah along the way, but I could also launch this Syncore cycling group, which I had in mind. But like I said to Herb earlier, we had launched Syncore cycling group back in West Coast anyway, because over there, I mean, Sandeep will probably explain later, I think in 2016 and 2017, they organised a 100k bike ride out in the mountains. And they went from KCMV all the way into Castlespool, which is back in Vancouver. It's a 63-mile bike ride, and I'll tell you something, they did an absolute phenomenal job. Jagir Gaur actually came and rode with us from Birmingham to London, from Canada, and she took that ride, explained that ride to Sandeep, and Sandeep and her put that ride together over there. Just to let you know that the money raised so far is $6,590, which I think is absolutely phenomenal for these times that we're in, especially COVID times. I don't know if you want to carry on now and talk to Sandeep Kaur, who can explain a lot more at what goes on at KCMV. I'm more than happy to pass that over.
Absolutely. So Sandeep, tell us about the fact that you're involved in it. You've been involved for quite a few years. There are many different groups that use this facility, aren't there? I think there's the 3HO, there's various groups that actually hire the facility out. So do you actually have a criteria, or are they doing social good? Is that your kind of thought behind actually letting it out to these people?
So Khalsa Center in Miracle Valley was established in 2011 with the mandate of bringing like-minded people together in a safe space. So not only there's no criteria. The only criteria is that you're kind, you believe in God, and you want a place where you can gather sangat collectively in a space that's safe. So we do. In 2020, we had actually booked out 20 summer camps. And myself and Herpaji and Biljit and Amin, we've been involved in an organization called the West Coast Sikh Youth Alliance since 1994. So, year 25 was in 2019, and this year would have been the 21st annual camp. So, keeping in mind that we want to bring young minds together, at Khalsa Center, we bring all ages together. So from having a family camp where babies and grandparents and families are together to a place where multiple rental groups come. But again, the mandate is the youth teaching the youth. So a place where we can teach each other about not only the Sikh faith, but also about humankind and being kind to each other.
That's a lovely sentiment. So, Herb, actually, you are a working example of somebody not only who takes part in the camp in terms of as a coordinator, but also you have your children who have been to those camps, right? Tell us a little bit about your experience in terms of you're still involved, right? You do lots of things with them, don't you?
Yeah, so I've been involved in it like many parents because of my kids, right? My wife is a Sikh. And when our kids were like 7, 8 years old, now they're in university, West Coast camp, and then into Khalsa Center Miracle Valley camp. So been in the whole time. And what's great about KCMV is that certainly for my kids, it was able for them to create their identity, who they are. Because if you're Sikh and you're an American, sometimes people to figure out who they are. And camp was fundamental for them to understand, this is who I am. I'm a Sikh. I'm also American. And they're in college right now. They take their friends who aren't Sikhs, but because they share that love for Sikhi, that deep in them, and that was derived from coming from going to Case. Part of it, they were there as campers, they were there as staffers, and it's who they are now. I mean, it's a great, wonderful place, and not only my kids though, involved in the staff as a whole of training the staff and managing the staff, and we have staff year after year after year come back and tell us how much they appreciate spent at KCMV because it is a leadership opportunity for it's a place for them to learn about life and introduction for success.
That's a really interesting actually because when there are a lot of camps all over the world and a tremendous amount of volunteer work that goes, but if you look at what they call in management the core competencies, in terms of what kind of skill sets are you learning, how is that affecting you as an individual to be a better person? But the core competencies would be things like leadership. It would be being strong, setting an example. I love the term that you used about kindness. One of the great things about Sikhs is that there's about the selfless service, not expecting anything back in return. And normally, I often see. I'm pretty sure it's in the DNA. I'm not bigging it up too much, but in the DNA, that if they see somebody falling over, they'll go over and help out. But to instill that and be able to provide some kind of motivation to do that, that's a great thing to do at an early age, and be able to communicate and have other people that can come by, and talk about it. Actually, which was, if we talk about skills, there is obviously leadership. There's also communication. There's also the fact that you've got to be a confident individual as you move forward through life. And these are skills that you get them in school, but when you are with peers or when you're with people who've actually got experience, and you've obviously got somebody who wants to learn, that's the important thing, right? The kind of discipline you need to have. That's a different set of qualities that are not necessarily resident in an individual when they turn up to school. how do people learn at the end of the day? They learn through experience, yes, but they also learn through recognizing that there are other people who are demonstrating the value of behaving in that particular manner. Would you agree with that, Herb?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. You're right on, and and that's the value of KCMV. It's the value of those young folks who come as staffers, and when they leave, have those values because they see other older folks like Sandeep and Baljit and plus they get a chance to experience those skills and how they work environment as a team member. I mean, you're absolutely right on.
Brilliant. So, Aman, Baljit was introducing you just now, the wonders of video technology when we can all talk at the same time, which is good fun. No one ever teaches you how to do video conferencing, do they? And this is the COVID world where we have to get used to it. Amandeep, tell us about, I hope I got your name right. So you have actually been someone who's attended that. How has that helped you in your life? What are you doing right now in terms of, can you draw back on the experiences that you had? Has it influenced you in a particular way to change your life or kind of reflect on what you learnt?
Yeah, so I started going to camp back when I was 10. Back when it was in multiple different campsites, we would go kind of all over, and we were the camp that was renting from other campsites in order to get a week long, I guess, retreat or camp. And then the goal, I think, was always to get our own campsite, as Sandeep Kaur was saying, and KCMB came along, and it was a great opportunity. I started as a camper, like I said, and I was a camper for approximately probably 10 years before I got to become a counselor. And then I think starting with camp, I met people that were 10 years old as well, and I'm still friends with them now. And we still have like a WhatsApp group that we all go to each other's, weddings now, and everybody's growing up, and so everybody has different things going on in their lives, and we all luckily got to reunite last year when it was the 25th year. And so that was great at KCMB. We all attended the camp for a week. Currently, I'm a surgeon, so I'm a general surgeon in Alberta. So in Canada, I guess. I don't know if many people probably don't know it, but I started. I've always wanted to be a doctor, but I think camp helped nurture that. The skills I learned at camp, like Herb said, leadership, as well as communication and teamwork, were some of the things that helped me grow as an individual, and I think did definitely help get me to where I am. You can't, like you said, you can't learn all those kinds of skills at school. They don't really teach you those things, but becoming a counselor definitely helped. I had to, organize a group of 10-year-olds and make sure that they learned what they were supposed to learn, help them grow as individuals themselves, help with their interpersonal skills. A lot of them came with issues at home that, we weren't just counselors in the sounds of a camp counselor, but we were kind of their sounding board, slightly like their therapist sometimes. So all those things helped, and we definitely learned that at camp. And so I wouldn't change those last 20, well, not for me, 25 years, but however old I am now, but 18 years, I guess. And so it was something that camp definitely gave me. And now that we have KCMB, somewhere that we're able to go on a yearly basis without having to find somewhere else, and we're letting other people come so that they can get these experiences as well.
So, Baljit, I'm going to come back to you. Unfortunately, you mentioned earlier on that the camp is no longer there because of it got burnt down. I think it was an arson issue.
Sorry, only that part of that building, the gym area and the recreational area, got burnt down. The rest of it is still there. The bar side is still there. The Langar hall is still there. The facilities for the high ropes and stuff like that, the zip line is still there. I think Sandeep, you can explain a lot more because you're actually there.
Yeah, so Savi, thank you, Baljit, for that. So Khalsa Center is 160 acres big, so a huge parcel of land. We have buildings on site. So we're a walk-in Sikh campsite. So you don't have to, set up a Gurdwara Sahib or set up a langar hall. So we have a outdoor amphitheater. We call that the Rock Amphitheater. An indoor auditorium, which is called our Gyan Auditorium. So that's a place where workshops take place. We have 4 residential buildings where we can have up to 300 people sleeping in dual occupancy. And then we have a 11 classroom building, so where our classes need to take place indoors. We have a large workshop. We have a Gurdwara Sahib, which can seat 300. We have lots of ransbais that happen, even Amrit Sanchar that happens at the camp during different various times of the year. We have an office building where all the administrative work happens. And then, we have lots of outdoor space. So we have a rock climbing wall, we've got a paintball field, we've got archery, we've got a grass field. We've also just built a huge obstacle course. We have our own personal lake. We have a zip line. So lots of amenities, which are fantastic. And, West Coast Sikh Youth Alliance being one of the original organizations that was out there doing youth camps, and then along with Khalsa Schools. So Khalsa Schools have been doing camps since 1986, along with running private school education, which is right now 2,500 students are learning BC curriculum, so Canadian curriculum, along with Sikhism. Not only is Sikh education being taught there, but also the leadership skills that Amandeep and her Baji just spoke about. But also, we are a place where people from all over the world can gather. For example, at the camp, Basics of Sikhi Camp that takes place, it's called Basics and Beyond. They have participants from China, Japan, America, Malaysia, England, different parts of Europe. Then we have the Sikh Research Institute, which rents our facility for 2 weeks.
I know her.
Yeah, with Harinder Singh. So, their group comes in and they've been doing their leadership retreat for over 20 years. And they have people from, again, America, Europe, Asia, every continent is covered. Australia is covered with their group as well. So, along with bringing people in from British Columbia and Canada, we go to the airport. We're bringing in people from the Seattle airport, the Abbotsford airport, the Vancouver airport. So, in 2019, which was our last functioning year, we had over 1,700 participants from 15 different countries attend at Khalsa Center. So not only the small dream of West Coast Sikh Youth Alliance, which was, 5 of us university students that started a camp, that vision now has become a lot bigger. And Baljeet Baji is a big component of that. He's very humble, so he won't let you know how much of a key component he is, but the West Coast Sikh Youth Alliance, the roots of West Coast Sikh Youth Alliance is Baba Fateh Singh Gatka Akhada. So them being our supporters, if we say that Baljeet Baji, Teji Baji, and Pitpal Baji, Raju, and Jags are coming from England, our camper occupancy doubles, because not only do they know that they're going to get Sangat, but they also know they're going to have wonderful Kirtan. Baljeet Baji plays tabla, Teji Baji and Raju and Pritpal Singh, they all do Kirtan. So it gathers the Sangat in a way that is not possible unless we're all together in a Sangat. And unfortunately, yes, Khalsa Center did have a fire in which our gymnasium unfortunately burned to the ground, which is fine because, we all learn from our trials and tribulations, and we're going to call this a big life challenge that we had this year in COVID. But we will come back bigger and better with the Sangat support, plus also the support of people that are like-minded, like everybody on this screen that I see right now. We all have a like-mindedness. We said the DNA of a Sikh, right? We have this DNA that we won't ever fail. We always succeed. And that means that we're going to, take our humble beginnings and make sure that someone else can have, or generations to come can have something. Like, you're looking at the background of the people here. Herpaji, successful businessman and, very successful with his children. Baljeet Baji, again, successful businessman, comes with a strong background. Amandeep here, she's starting off. She's a surgeon. She's going to donate lots of money to Khalsa Center in the future. Right, Aman? Right? All her, earnings for months and months to come. So people that are the grassroots of Khalsa Center and West Coast Sikh Alliance are people that are educated. So, not only do we provide counseling, what Amandeep said, we're doing mentorship. So people can come back to us and say, I want to be an engineer. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a painter. I want to be a framer. We will, I want to be a TV person. We always have someone in our pocket dial book that can mentor those students.
I think it's an interesting thing about mentoring, because one of the difficulties I found, especially, and I was talking to somebody, actually my niece yesterday, and I was saying, well, what kind of career advice do you give? And I think it's really interesting, because there are certain times of your life when you're not really sure what you want to do, and when you meet other people, it's kind of a positive thing to get an insight into that, because that can help steer you in the right direction, or the direction insight that you'll get. Although I think a lot of
our summer students, which we have about 20 to 25 summer staff, Herb Baji and Parminder Benji, his wife, who has run multiple companies in different levels of, American world. Maybe Herb Baji can speak about this, how we tell our students to be mentored by us people that are in the professional world so that you can become better. Herb Baji.
That's good, Herb. That's good. I think one of the other things I've set up a number of mentoring schemes in the past. I think it's not always hierarchical, because I think it's a two-way street. As a mentor, you can sometimes learn from a mentee, as long as you have that peer relationship rather than hierarchical. Have you found that sometimes when you get an extra insight when you talk to somebody who's younger than you, or somebody that you're mentoring, I didn't actually think about it from that perspective. Kind of aha moments on both sides,
Oh, absolutely. And the reason my wife Perminder does it is because we really get more out of it than because of exactly what you just said. And it's very satisfying. Sometimes these younger adults just need a safe place, what their options are, without having some biased opinion. You need to go in one direction. So a lot of times you both, Perminder and I, to listen, and we may not even say anything, but we're just listening to them resolve their own issues, but by being able to talk it out. And we're not there to necessarily tell them what to do, just to give them things to let them decide what direction they need to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're literally running out of time. Can you believe we only got about a minute or so to go? I wanted to take this opportunity to say, I know it's a different time zone in all different places that we are. It's so great that we got technology where we can talk together. Thank you so much for giving us an insight. I've learned a lot about Baljeet today. He doesn't tell us about all the great things he does, actually, but he's a good guy. And he has done really well, along with everyone else in the US, in Canada, in the UK, to raise the vital funds that were needed to make sure that some of the facilities that you unfortunately lost, you could get back. I'd like to say thanks so much for giving us your insights, and also I would say keep on inspiring people and keep on being successful in all you do, whether you're starting out in your career or you're out there supporting people. That's wonderful, Herb. And the fact that you're running a centre is it's a big piece of work. And I'm going to kind of give the last few minutes to a minute or so to Baljeet before I say goodbye. Baljeet, thanks for bringing everyone together, and also thanks for all your hard work that you're doing to push the cause.
I think it's very, very important to share the Sanghas, especially the good Sangha that is around us, and especially the kids that have grown up. And look, you only have to look at Aman, that KCMV actually mentored her, and look at the position she's at, a surgeon. My God, I mean, that is like the highest of the high, especially in an Indian family. You take anyone, they always say to you, become a doctor, lawyer, and before you know it, engineer. These things are very, very important. And not only that, more importantly, what I'm looking at the back here, health is wealth. Right now, we're in the COVID period. You guys, all of us as a Sangha, we need to get up, and we need to turn a negative into a positive. And I think the Sinkhole Cycling Initiative, especially was the tragic event that happened at KCMV, has definitely got us started on a good start here. And guys, never ever forget, if you have an opportunity to visit that campsite, please do so, because you won't be disappointed. send your kids there. If you're already a resident in Canada, you definitely need to do that because they're going to learn the proper way in life and how to be a mentor or a mentee.
That's fantastic. So I think people. It's evident. The 3HOs, the people that do a lot of the work over in the US in terms of their charity work, local communities that, as we're demonstrating, doing kindness. You mentioned the Sikhi group that originally started in the UK and now are doing their Seek Beyond camp there. Sikri, we know Harinder Singh does some great work as well in a leadership program that he runs. So it's a really great facility for international people to come together and be better people. So at that, I'm going to say thanks so much to everyone, all our international guests that came today. Appreciate it very much. And thank you so much. And have a great day, afternoon, morning.
Thank you.